This was some research funded by the International Labour Organisation, and I've got a cup with me, and it was about street begging. So this is what I asked myself to bring along. And so we recruited some volunteers. There was a data gap. How many people were begging on the streets? What sorts of people? Were they begging with children? Were they older people? Were they younger people? Were they migrants? So we recruited some volunteers in central London, and the idea was it was a task that they could do as they went about their usual activities. We weren't recruiting researchers in that sense. They were given a set of guidelines, instructions to follow, but we wanted them to be observant people as they went about their daily commute. So if you've been on a commute this morning, you might have seen someone begging, and if you were in our study, you would have made a note, recorded it, and we would have collected that data. So it was very much a pilot scoping study. We recorded data from 66 journeys across central London by tube or just people on their usual commute walking, and 24 people were seen begging, some with children. And we got into the process of trying to categorise and analyse that data. So it was a really interesting pilot study for us. The ILO used it to inform whether they were going to do a larger study and how they would do that. So is it useful to have observant people recording data, or do you need more of a trained field workforce and the cost to that? We did get it through to academic journal publication, but it was a challenge with reviewers. So one of the queries was, is this research on the cheap? Which is either a positive or a negative comment, depending on how you view it. And also, is it undermining the skilled field worker? So they were challenges we overcame, because I think it was quite new in its time. It's going back a few years now. But it got through to publication in the end, and it's raised lots of interesting questions and research. PhD funding's come out of it and other projects. And it contributed to the policy discussions and funding allocation of the ILO. So it was really important in that sense, and we're carrying on with it actually, in terms of thinking of different ways for observant citizens to gather data where there's an evidence gap. We're also wrestling with the boundary between the idea of a fully trained professional field worker and what we might call a casual observer. Thanks very much.